To order at 7:03 and start with roll call. Gail, you want to start?
I'm here.
I'm here, Chris Mobielski.
Rick Bowen.
Todd Sproul.
Sheldon Coe.
Bob Paul. Mike Wright. Looking for approval of tonight's agenda. Hank, any edits?
No, everything on there is going as planned. I would like to take one moment to take the opportunity to welcome Mayor Paul to the Planning Commission. Commissioner Olsman's last meeting was the November meeting, and Mayor Paul will be our commission liaison for the year, again as a voting member. So welcome.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Again.
Do we need to go slow for you to catch you up? Or you...
Exactly. So looking for approval of tonight's agenda.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is approval of the minutes from December 6th meeting and the November 22nd meeting from last year.
Mr. Chair, if you could take those separately, because Gail had noticed a couple corrections that I would like to get down, please.
Yep, we'll start with November 22nd.
I've got a question. What is RRC? Criteria for RRC? Page 1
For November?
of the
First bullet.
December 6th.
First
Top
bullet.
outlines of the plan. Any idea what RRC is?
Redevelopment ready community.
Okay.
That would have been my third guess.
Okay, so where are we on the 6th, or are we?
We're on November 22nd
Okay.
first. Any edits? If not, looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to approval minutes for December 6th, 2021.
I have a change in that one. I was absent and Jules is the only one listed as absent.
Okay, we will put Gail as absent.
Also, I noticed Jules is up as being present. And I mean,
We will sketch that. That one's a real hard meeting because
We were all-
we were at the gym.
Yep.
And it was hard for the minute taker to even hear. So hopefully this will be a little bit easier. Any other corrections, Gail?
Hank, is this the one where it was listed as, Chase said that they were interested in putting in,
You can do that as,
Chase was interested in putting in an extra ATM machine, and it was listed as doing it on Woodward, and I remembered hearing it that
it
it was
is,
on Coolidge.
it is actually on Coolidge. So I will take that correction as well. It is at the Chase location on Coolidge, not on Woodward. They have plenty on Woodward.
Right, that's why I thought they need another one there, do you think? Theirs and all, they all have
No,
to use.
well, I'm glad that they're busy, so. Okay, we will take care of that.
That was it.
Okay, looking for approval for December 6th meeting minutes
motion
as
to
amended?
approve.
As amended?
As amended. Motion to approve December 6th meeting minutes.
Thank you, Todd.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. First up is site plan review for Greenberg Varner residence at 25812 Salem. Are you guys gonna kick us off or, okay, ready when you are.
Okay, my name's Chris Morgan. I'm here with my client, Eric Greenberg. His wife, Mary, is not here. We are looking at adding an master suite addition over top of the existing main level kitchen and nook area. Hey, can we put the
I can do that.
existing front elevation up, please?
Absolutely, give me a second. You want the as-built, Chris?
Yeah, the as-built front elevation. There we go.
Okay.
So you can see here on the front elevation, the area to the left, there's actually a second level balcony up there. And then the area to the right is it's his office, and it's got a flat roof right now. We feel like the house has a nice stately look to it, but it's a little asymmetrical, and we wanted to enhance the symmetry and enhance the stateliness of the architecture. So Hank, if we could look at now the design proposed front elevation. So you can see here on the left, this is where we've added the master suite addition, and you can see the left side elevation too as it goes across. And what we did is we added a hip roof that matches the pitch of the existing roof, but we kept it at the 26-foot height restriction. And then we also added a complementary roof on the right side over the office that gave balance to the house and gave symmetry to the house, and we really feel like enhances the front elevation. Our intentions are to match all the brick detail in the brick itself, also the overhang details with the dental moldings and all of that. The windows, we're maintaining the symmetry and using like size and type windows and details in the windows with the muttons. And of course the roof pitch and the roof material itself will match the house as well. The house is zoned R1B, and we are well under the maximum allowed house size, which is 3688 with our lot size. Our proposed size would be 2,897 square feet, and we're under the maximum lot coverage of 25%. We're actually at 18.9, but with the 530 square foot set aside for accessory structures, we're at 24.3. And again, the roof line will be maxed out at 26 feet, keeping us in compliance with there. And then lastly, we do have a letter that I think was distributed to you, it's two-sided, from the neighbor to the north and to the neighbor to the east behind that would be directly affected by the addition. We've got letters of support from both of them. And with that, I'll turn it over to Hank.
Thank you. Basically what I wanted to go over with this house is this one is kind of unique, and I'm going to go to the site plan here. If you take a look at the way that the site plan is, you'll see that the house faces Salem over here, but the lot is actually platted off of Hendry. So when you're looking at this and this looks weird, this is actually the rear yard, this is actually the front yard, and this are side yards. So when you're looking at this, there's no construction here or here or here. The construction is here. So what I was concerned about was a variance for the rear yard for this, because our ordinance has always said straight up, straight back, and it was interpreted primarily to the side yards, and I interpreted to this for the rear yard as well, because it wasn't encroaching any worse. It was kind of like a make no worse situation. So when I asked the city attorney for an opinion, and they said that was fine for my interpretation, but that we should clarify that with the ordinance. So in February, you will have a small language change on an ordinance coming to you. But that's been interpreted and backed up to be that they're taking up no more ground floor, they're taking up no more square footage over on the lot than exists currently. And when you take a look at this, let me get to this right here. You kind of see where they're filling in right here. So this is the Salem side over here. This is where it is. They've got the garage plus the additional square footage of the rear lot line right over here. So they're not going over the garage at all, but they're filling in the space that already exists right here, which is what Chris had alluded to. And again, that's the left side view. The height is existing in the R1B district. They're allowed 35 feet. It's at 30.83. Front yard is 30 feet. There's a 35.8. There's no change to that. There's no change to the side yards. And again, the rear yard, where I put at the time that I didn't have the city attorney review it yet, but we do have a letter confirming that she supports my decision on that. So I just wanted to make that perfectly clear. They are under the square footage. 24.3 does include the set aside that what Chris was saying, so instead of the 28.3 that was there, that was a typo from another thing. But they would have been under in any case. So they're well under with everything, and if there's any other questions that you have about the print, this is really pretty straightforward. They balanced the roof line out on both sides with the center. They've added the window on the top left, so it's consistent with the lower and the one next to it. And other than that, again, if you have any questions, I'm sure that Mr. Morgan or myself would be happy to answer them. I'll even turn the lights on so you can see the plans.
Thanks, Hank.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll open it up for public discussion. Anybody? We'll close public discussion and Paul, would you like to start?
Actually, I'm good with everything. I like the balancing of the improvements. I don't have any questions.
Sheldon?
Yeah, I've got a question on the memo that was prepared by hand. The height showing near the top of the first page shows the proposed height, 2 stories, 30.83. And then at the bottom, it's saying that the roof height is typically viewed as 26.
The 30.83 is to the main house, which is not changing, but that is the roof height, so that's what's listed up front. The addition comes out to 25 feet 10 inches, is that correct?
Well, I capped it at 26 feet because
Right.
I'm actually flattening that roof out up there, but yeah.
So,
Okay, I just.
that's why
didn't
the 2
understand.
numbers.
Okay.
Fair
good.
question.
I've got no problem, it seems straightforward, and, it seems that attention has been paid to materials and consistency with the rest of the, architecture in the house, so I'm good with it.
Thanks, Sheldon. Todd?
Yeah, I'm fine with it as well, nice job. It'll, level it out, it's gonna look nice.
Thanks, Todd. Rick?
No comments or questions?
Chris?
No comments or questions myself.
Yeah.
It looks great. The only windows that you're replacing are the the windows in the front and the 2 additions. And those are gonna be, windows to match the other windows throughout.
Yep.
And so you're getting rid of the fenestra or casement windows in the sun porch that's upstairs or whatever. it is.
Exactly, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Looks great.
thank you.
Is the front porch is also changing though, also in the elevation, correct?
No, that's existing,
Okay.
yeah.
I wondered if it was coming forward or not. Okay. Looks great.
Yeah, I think it looks great. More a question out of curiosity than anything else. With as much work that went into balancing the house, why didn't you repeat the windows over here?
Oh, well, so that on the right there, that's this kind of, it was basically a sunroom, a sun porch, and so it was all glass, and so I'm taking those single pane units out of there and putting thermal break proper units. And then on the other side, I wanted to maintain the symmetry with the window down below in the kitchen and duplicate that pattern. So like the window on the front elevation to the left, I balanced the window with what's below it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just out of curiosity. Okay, looking for a motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, guys.
Do you guys want the plans?
You want plans there?
Sure. I don't know how much you guys like keyboards.
All right, next up, we've got site plan review for an addition, is it Agnello Residence? At 26675 Humber.
Andy, does this page work for you, or did you want a different page? Okay.
Want me to go first?
Oh.
A little bit? I didn't know if you wanna.
No, you go right ahead.
Alright, I'm Andrew Danaher, architect, Robert Agnello is homeowner. Currently the house is a rental house that, Robert bought maybe a year and a half ago or so. We began working on the house and looking at it, as far as what we could do to bring his family back into Royal Oak, or to Huntington Woods. He's currently living in Royal Oak in another house. We needed a 4-bedroom house, 2 bathrooms minimum. The house sits back an additional almost 20 feet of the 2 surrounding neighbors. So we were trying to figure out a way to either not rebuild the whole house, keep a good chunk of the first floor intact, not really adjust the front entryway, and what we came down to is basically an addition on the rear. So it's up and back, basically. We do have a garage that sits 6 feet off of our rear property line, which we knew was gonna be a challenge a little bit. We didn't wanna connect the garage to the house, so we still maintain sort of a portal to the backyard, but the new addition comes within, I think it's 3'6" of the rear garage, so we're under the 3, but we know there's a 10-foot rule in Huntington Woods, accessory structure to house, so we can talk about some details on that if there are some concerns, but the new addition would be all brick to match the existing house. We are gonna tongue and tooth in some of the brick along the peak lines if you see, but we're basically turning a bungalow into a colonial, which will be similar to the southern residence which exists today. If you see the elevations later on. We meet all the other rules of coverage, square footage maximums, the height maximum. The main variance we're seeking is a 3.2 reduction on the rear set yard, or rear yard setback, but also the proximity to the existing accessory structure, which is also all good. And at that, I guess, we're trying to keep someone back in the community. Rob's kids are gone through school at Nora, or in Nora.
Since kindergarten.
Since kindergarten, so we're trying to bring it back, so.
All right. Thank you. Hank, anything to add?
Yeah, they have like some unique challenges with this particular house because it does sit back. In the aerial that you see that's up here right now, in fact, let me make sure you can see that by shutting the light off.
You're getting your steps in.
Right, and my Fitbit loves me. So basically what happens is that when you slide the house back, which was done pre-Andrew, pre-Robert, the house existed here. So the problem that you have with it is that when they put an addition on the back, they run into a bind with an existing garage. That'll be sorted out at the Zoning Board of Appeals, and that's probably one of the arguments that they may want to make, is that the house sitting back, but in any case, that's not something so much for the case for that. But having said that, the space that they're adding and the space that they're looking to add off the back of the house makes sense. They are under the maximum house height. They are under the front yard setback. They're way over what they need for the front yard setback. The side yards are fine. The rear yard is fine. And the lot coverage is under, I had them at 28.8. And then the house size, I had at 29.98, and where 3,000 is permitted. So the architectural details counted, again, this will need a variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals, and I put in there the section and the understanding for what it is. There was just a couple clarifications on the plans that I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood so that they don't have an issue with it. On the elevation, where they're showing on the elevations, and they're saying like west exterior elevation, and they're showing what was there, and they're showing existing. What he's actually showing you is not what's existing, but what's proposed. So that's the elevation, and that's how they will look. His hash lines are what was there, and then the regular drawing is what will be there. So it's not existing, it's actually proposed, but he gave you the existing in the red line on the outside, so everybody can see that. I just want to make sure that they understand that he's proposing something, what you're seeing is what he's proposing.
Can we make everybody do that?
Pardon me?
Can we make everybody do that?
It's really nice.
It's nice to do because it gives you the idea of what was there and what's going there and how it came from point A to point B. So I love seeing that because it gives you the idea of what you got and what you had.
I love it too. It'd be great to keep this around as an example to show folks that are coming in.
Well, depending on how many people hire Andy, that, but that's one of the things. And then again, you can see it when you have the 3 in a row up at the top of that. And then up here, the only question that I had is it down on the north exterior elevation where it says existing, and you have the hatching right in there. On the bottom of that elevation, which is new, there's no windows on that, so the fenestration on that side is a little bit light for what that is. You can take a look at the interior plan and draw your conclusions, and you can go ahead and address that if you want. I also didn't have a window schedule or sizes or styles. While some of them are drawn, and you can see that they're They look like they might be casement windows, some are bigger and they look like they'll either be fixed or they'll be double hungs. I'm not sure what he's got going, if there's a question. The other thing for clarification was some have muntins and some do not. So I don't know what the intent is for him to have there. And I assume that he's got these windows at the bottom are glass block. Is that correct, Andy?
Those exist today, so anything that's not located shaded in is an existing window, which will likely, at this point, because construction costs are down a little bit, we likely will replace all the windows, but he's trying to balance the cost. When we started this a year and a half ago, wood was.
Yeah, no, I guess just for,
So he's trying to make the house work, so, that's really the only difference. So the windows today aren't all one, but
The
all
windows-
new windows would be, so,
okay, so the windows will all have muntins in the end gate.
that's right.
Okay, all right.
They're trying to get it back to what it probably should look like in this area.
Yeah, and, again, all the roof lines line up, everything else is, done. They've taken the front peaks off and they've put on, standing seam metal roof. Other than that, I really have nothing else. This is pretty straightforward. It meets the height, size requirements, the bulk requirements. And, he's detailed the sides pretty good. The only question that I had was on the one side where there was no fenestration on the lower wall.
And actually on that elevation, if it makes sense, that face sits in about 10 feet from the other, so that area kind of tucks back if you look at it in plans. So the reason that side has no windows is really that's the side we're wanting to have most of our cabinetry in the kitchen to open the view out to the yard. So the view to that side really comes out of dining room is the intent. So we're replacing a pair of windows with a pair of doors on the dining room side and trying to connect the backyard that way. So.
Setting? All right. I'm sorry, public participation? Anybody? Close public participation. And Gail, you want to start us?
Sure. I caught something and I told, and it's within it, I told Hank about it. And that's on page 3 of the proposal of site plan review, when it's comparing the properties to Humber on both sides of it. It said that the house size was gonna be 2897, but according to the plans, it's 2998, just under the 3,000. So rather than correct it in our minutes of next meeting, let's correct it now so that next meeting is correct.
Right, well, we listed it as 2997 is what we had. That's what I have. Andy, what do you have this at?
I have it at 2998.
Okay.
It's because
2998 is the correct number, that's what I
Okay, well,
have.
it was listed on the paper as 2897, so that's why I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that it was in the 29s and under the.
It is 2998.
Okay. Yep. I think it looks fine as long as the windows get the button bars throughout so that it's consistent.
Yes, okay.
Yep.
Chris?
No questions for me.
Rick?
Hank, do we require a window schedule for approval?
The window schedule is, you don't require it for approval, but it says all dimensions. The reason that we like to have it is because if the planning commission would have a question about, are you replacing the same size windows with the same size windows, you have the information there to make that. Without it, you don't have it.
So when you calculated fenestration, you just did it based on scaling?
I based on scale, correct. But he didn't need that number to make the 3,000.
And I apologize, we usually do a window schedule, but this, for whatever reason, it didn't make much sense today. Windows are all drawn to scale.
Okay, that's it, thank you.
Thanks. Todd?
No questions or concerns.
Gentlemen?
I have a couple of questions. So the stuff that, on the old section that doesn't show muttons on the windows, those windows are or are not muttons?
The two facing north are, the upper ones are not. It's really kind of a scattered mix of windows today, so. But like I said, I think based on construction costs, and we talked about it a little bit recently after we submitted plans, that we probably would be, there's not that many windows left over that aren't being replaced now, so we probably replace them all as new, so.
Okay, because there's nothing we can do about what's already there.
That's right. We're not increasing the openings so if we did it, it would be a true replacement, but matching style of what you're seeing with the new windows today.
Okay, I mean, I take you at your word that eventually those will end up with windows that are consistent with the addition, but there's not much we can do about what's already installed. The fenestration issue, that Hank brought up, in the lower left picture, is, I mean, I understand the use that's in the room behind it. But that's not something the planning commission is supposed to take into account in terms of determining the suitability of the plan. Don't care what you do inside. Okay, we're concerned with the appearance of the exterior, and whether it's suitable on the guidelines that we have. And that level of expanse, that has no windows in it does concern me, because there's nothing from the extension over to the right as we're looking at it. There are no windows on that first floor, at least as far as I can see. And can you go back to the opening picture, the opening
Yeah.
photograph?
I can go wherever you need me to be, hold on.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, got that. So, there's a 3.5 foot dimension between the edge of the proposed extension and the garage. Okay. Now, on the bottom there, what's the distance between this house and the structures on the nearest lot? Do we know?
Yeah, it's on the existing survey.
15.6 to the lot line.
Yeah, 6 feet.
Oh, no, wait, I heard that.
6 feet at the addition part, and then 5.7
5.9.
feet at the very front leading edge of the house, which is an existing.
Okay.
survey.
Any idea how far the house next to it is?
18'2".
Okay, all right, because my other concern was access in terms of fire access and that sort of stuff. Because you choke down the point on the other side of the lot. Sorry, I don't have my directions quite down. If you choke down the access to the back of the house, on the garage side, I just was concerned that there be reasonable access, there not be just like a, 6 foot or something like that. The fire access could be satisfied as far as that is concerned. That's, yeah, I mean, that basically is my objection, is the fenestration on that one section of the first floor. Anyway, other than that, I've got no particular problems. Hank seems to have been diligent about pointing out the other stuff, and we have most of we have what appears to be the answers on the other things that Hank pointed out to us in his notes. That's where I am.
All right, thanks, Sheldon.
Yeah.
Up?
Guys, your conversation's going into the mic.
You bring that north elevation back up again that Sheldon was talking about on the
Yes, sir.
demonstration. So is there actually a door there that's not showing?
No, the door is in the perpendicular wall where those red windows exist steps back almost 10 feet there. So there's a pair of doors there with a new set of steps coming down.
That's gonna be all appliances against that wall. And you gotta go somewhere.
Go back up to the one you just had, Hank.
So there's the side view
But-
directly above it on the left if you, actually it's a view of the west.
So
elevation.
the door that's showing there, that's not a door in the new addition? What's swinging, oh, that's just a
That's
closet,
the doorways
something,
to the
I got it.
pantry on the
Pantry
inside.
doors, okay.
So we were trying to create a new mudroom in the pantry, and we're just running out of real estate for appliances and having a decent sized kitchen. And we felt because of the step that this, and we know that there's the symmetry and balance of windows, as a talking point with the commission. So, but we felt like because that step existed and these new large sort of French doors we're creating on the opposite addition, no one ever looks at a building in true elevation. And I know that's how we judge them architecturally, but every building is looked at in perspective. I mean, as you walk in the backyard, you're never gonna see a giant area where there's no windows. You're gonna see the leading edge windows that are perpendicular to you. You're gonna see the setback area with some shadow lines. I mean, the upper windows are part of that elevation no matter what you do, because it's a two-story addition. We felt like it was okay at the lower level to not necessarily have windows. That was our rationale.
I don't have any other questions.
Yeah, I guess my first thought was the lack of fenestration there, but looking at it, I think here, relative to the other house and how set back it is, you're never gonna see this. I mean, it's that area of the house is completely buried, so I guess I'm okay with it too, because of that. So, that said, I think we're looking for a motion.
Motion to approve the plans as presented?
Subject to variance.
Yeah. Subject to the variance.
How about, and also subject to, fenestra, with, button bars in the windows has to be replaced, in existing windows to match.
I don't think
He wasn't, that's up to
What
them.
if we decided to just do all matching windows?
All matching windows. I mean, I think that's probably what's gonna happen. I mean, the prices are down. We know this is gonna be an expensive build either way, and why leave 6 windows left to existing?
I don't think we have jurisdiction over that.
We do not.
Okay.
Rob wants to create windows.
If that's something that he would like to offer, that's certainly fine and much appreciated, but that's nothing that we can.
Okay, so Todd, you're going with,
Yeah, motion to approve as presented with the subject to the variance.
okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys want plans?
Hey, do you want these back?
I think so. We could use them for ZBA.
No, they're gonna have to
Yep.
submit.
Right ahead.
They have to submit them again, you, okay? Give them back to you and you can resubmit.
So he can get them, yeah, if you give them back to him and he resubmits them, that's fine, I just can't take
Well, just
these.
have the drawings, I just wondered if I was colorblind, because there were no red lines, they were just dotted lines.
Andy, they're gonna expect that from
You didn't see the red?
Right, we'll do this as great.
Leave it. I just
Good
folded
press.
it back.
Thanks, Andy.
All right, thanks guys.
Keep all those?
Next up, we have a site plan review for the addition of the Lister residence at 25870 Concord.
Good evening. I'm Michael Ostrowski, the architect, and this is my associate and brother Peter. We are representing the Listers here tonight and would like to present the addition for approval. Hank, could you put the,
Which one would you like?
I think the renderings, just to put the hand on, the renderings would be great. Probably the back one. There you go. That kind of shows the design development. Okay. This residence was built in 1936 and is listed at 2,431 square feet. We are proposing to add to the rear of the structure in addition to an existing family room of 119 square feet, which will enlarge and make an awkwardly shaped space into a usable family room. We are also proposing to add an additional 119 square feet to the kitchen area, which will update and give higher function to the kitchen. This renovation will also provide more window surfaces and a direct access to the rear yard. The existing residence has brick, smooth, and rock face cut limestone surrounds and detailing, as well as exposed painted quarter sawn timbers, aluminum clad eaves and soffits, bracketing, and window trim. There are also prominent exposures of vinyl siding on the upper front gable, cantilevered second floor side porch, and the rear one-story family room, which the outmoded vinyl siding covers all 4 sides. The design proposal incorporates the use of matching brick, limestone sills, and rock face cut stone detailing. New metal clad insulated windows and doors, standing seam metal clad bay window roofing, painted soffits, moldings and trim, matching roof shingles, 6-inch diameter half-round gutters, and a very judicious use of cementitious hardy plank siding, all of which are contextual and sensitively balanced. Furthermore, the proposed addition is confined to the rear of the structure and has no exposure to the street. The proposal calls for removing outdated aluminum-clad eaves, soffits, and trim, second floor non-egress windows, a 12-foot by 20-foot dilapidated aluminum awning, and 240 square feet of vinyl siding. The new material specifications match the existing residence and exclude non-performing, inappropriate items, including the vinyl siding. We are proposing the use of nominally 112 square feet of high-performance cementitious exterior wall cladding on the second floor only, which reduces the use of existing vinyl cladding by 64%. We feel that the minimal use of siding maintains the integrity of the existing design characteristics of the residence. The front gable and protruding upper side porch are prime examples. They are both clad with vinyl siding and are strikingly conspicuous. These features will hopefully be reclad with a contextually appropriate high-performance material. The proposed use and placement of the siding on the residence is proper, subtle, and suitably located on the second floor and allows for the appropriate use of this material for future upgrades to this outstanding home. Photos which display the materials, details, and finishes of the addition are presented as evidence. They are the garage which was designed, approved, and constructed on the site last summer. We are asking for your vote of confidence and approval to our design proposal so we may continue with the next phase of the Lister's project. And I want to thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. Hank, anything to add?
Yeah, I would think that, you know, I mean, you're looking at this elevation, which is the rear elevation, and I'll start here because Mr. Ostrowski's taken the time to provide us with this. You're looking at a change in materials, which is a material upgrade. Additionally, also, the siding that's on the second floor is a balance issue, and it provides some architectural relief, and it also provides a lessening of massing from the other sides. So why it's there with this case is not really so much of a problem. You also take a look at the soldier coursing and the brick detail that Mr. Ostrowski's included on this, along with the lighting and the porch balusters and everything, and it really does look nice. The details are replicated all the way around on the north side elevation. If you take a look at it, even the basement windows are soldier coursed with this. So there's a lot of effort. The same thing on the other side here. So what you're looking at is relatively different, but it does change. It changes the look in a nice way, and that it completes the project. So, you know, I didn't want to just leave it on that one page because you do have that. And then I do want to go through some of this here so you can kind of see what he has here, because this has been provided for us. This is the existing house. So when you're looking at the house, back here is the area where this would occur. So right now you can kind of get an idea and see what it is. The house itself is a brick house with some siding, some timber, stuck with like brick with a half timber framing, which is a nice detail for the front. If you take a look at this right here, you'll see again as we're starting to walk around the house, the details where it is, and this is a cantilever over an existing side bay. So the house has a tremendous amount of detail with it. So you can kind of get an idea here, and then now we go to the back. And I think this is one of the most telling pictures that you have of this right here. So this is what's existing right here. And this is the old addition. This is the awning that Mr. Ostrowski was talking about. That's what you have. And this is what you're going to get. So the balance in the project is, he's dramatically changed it, and it's really a significantly nice design. And I just wanted to point out, because there were some pictures that were not transmitted thought-wise that you can see now. So I want to make sure that you guys have a look at that. It's under the height requirement, it's under the front yard requirement, there's no change to that. It's under the side yard, there's no variance required. The rear yard, again, no variance required. The lot coverage is fine. The house size is fine, there's no variance needed. And again, the plan shows balance of character and material changes, and it reduces the mass from the views that were there. And I guess a big plus for the neighbors is that the awning goes. So, I'd just like to thank Mr. Ostrowski for his time and attention to detail. I do want to point out for the record that we do have, communication from a neighbor who is unhappy with the garage that was approved and built last year. The communications have been placed before you. I will make this available for the record and it will be incorporated into the record, but I'm not gonna read the whole thing into the record. So, it's available, it will be part of that. You all have kept it and you've seen it. If you have any questions about it, I am happy to answer it. But it really primarily addresses the garage, which is not, what we're here for tonight. So if there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So are we.
I figured you would.
Yes, sir.
Question, are you digging basement under
Yes.
this addition?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, seeing no public participation needed. Mr. Esophagus?
Great, great work, nice detail. Have any questions?
John?
Yeah, I'm fine with it as well, as far as addressing the letter from the neighbor. It sounds to me that's a sportsman issue, not a planning commission issue. I don't know what to do there. But you gotta not have neighbors.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know that already. Okay.
I'm just the architect, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm good with it.
Thanks, Sheldon. Todd?
One curiosity question. So you're digging the basement, you're adding to the basement?
Yes,
So it's just gonna go through, follow
Yes.
through right in there, that's pretty
Correct.
cool.
Yep.
My next question is, so the siding's gonna stay the same as it is in the front and the side right now?
right now.
So there's gonna be a change in the type of siding, you have aluminum, is what my guess is?
It's
up front?
vinyl, it's vinyl in
Vinyl.
the front. We're using hardy plank, which is cementitious. And, you know, I'm pretty confident that in the coming year, after this phase is done, that front will be looked at and
Your
brought.
cost right now is. through the roof.
Absolutely,
Yeah, no.
absolutely.
Okay, that's my only concern, if you're doing it, do it, you know, like.
Oh,
get
yeah,
by.
absolutely. There's
get
no
by.
question that the listers they're planning to stay, you know,
No, that's my only question and concern, I'm good, thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Rick?
I do have an issue with the vinyl siding staying if you're bringing hardy board into the back. Too many different materials on one house with no guarantee that it's going to ultimately be changed out. So, I think if I were to approve it, I would have to see that the front siding is switched out to hardy.
May I point something out about that material? This is typically a material that replaces that, and when you start siding homes like that, that is the preferred high-performing material that would be used in these instances.
I don't have an issue with the use of the material, I have an issue that it's creating an inconsistency around the house. I agree it's a superior product,
Let
but
me ask you, do you want vinyl siding on the back then? Is that what you're promoting, or?
no, I'm not promoting vinyl siding, I'm promoting consistency. So either way, to me, it has to be consistent building materials.
Well, we have, hardy siding is on the garage, and we have photos of that, and we can show you what it'll look like. I'm pretty sure that in the future that the listers aren't here right now, but I'm pretty sure that will be, addressed.
You said there's hardy on the existing garage?
Yes, there is.
On the new garage.
Yes, there is. We have photos of it if you'd
The
like to
party
see.
house, if you will? Is that where,
Pardon me?
the party house?
I know it's in the garage. We have pictures of that. if
Yeah,
you'd
I'm
like to
wondering
see.
because you're sort of like, I hear what you're saying, like consistent with one area, but inconsistent with the other.
I would believe that the homeowner would want it all consistent.
Absolutely.
I'm looking for some sort of guarantee that it will be consistent.
Well, I don't know if that's part of what we're talking about here today. There was nothing on the front elevation or.
It's a different elevation, and it's kind of the same like the thing with the windows. If if it's on the existing house, you can't necessarily ask them to, you can ask them to change it, but if Mr. Ostrowski's not in a position to give you an authorized answer that they will do that, then one of two things can happen. He can say that he's going to go ahead and put vinyl on the back for consistency, and then, you know, when they change it all. Or when he has a chance to talk to the listers, they can then come in and just use Hardy on the whole project. So that's up to them, but that would be the way to go with this. If the consistency is going to be an issue for you, then, and again, as you all know, I am not the proponent of vinyl siding.
I was gonna say, I get the consistency, but I would not vote to approve this if it was mine.
See, but therein lies the issue. So it's going to be whether the consistency is more important to you than getting the foothold on the upgrade, because as they go around the house, logic would dictate that they would use a different type of siding material. Or if the consistency is paramount for you, then you would have him do that, and then he would have the option at the time of coming in and saying, okay, I want to do Hardy and upgrade the back of it. The interesting part about this is that if they were to come here and they were to get approval for the siding, and if he was to change the siding, all he would need to do is get a permit. He wouldn't need to come back to the planning commission for a siding change.
Yeah, I think this is why we like the homeowners here, so we can have these conversations. And that's the other option, is to table it.
Well, if you wanna, Ken, can we show the garage and show you that the hardy siding is?
Do I have the garage?
Yes, you do.
Okay, hold on.
I do like the, just the idea that
This
it's gonna be
next
seen,
one down.
the consistency between the garage and the backside.
There we go.
So this is the garage that we built this summer. And if you look on the right-hand side, you can see that the hardy plank siding is up on the right-hand side and also on the far right gable. We have all the limestone, the brick, lighting, detailing. If you go down to the next picture, Hank, I'm sorry, you can see there's the hardy siding, which we are proposing to use on the back of the garage. The back of the house also. So if you stand even farther back, if you go back another picture, you can see there's the hardy siding on the side with the painted trim, the half-round gutters, the brick, the limestone, the new windows, and will be able to be seen to the back of the house. So we've done this on the garage. We'd like to do it on the back of the house, and which I'm pretty sure, I can't say 100%, but this is what we would put on the front of the house also. So I'm sure, I don't know how else to address this, but I'm sure we're looking at a consistency from the back to the front. And right now, the back is not even, you can't even see the back of the house from the,
Okay, so that is vinyl?
that's all vinyl.
This
Yes,
is
it
all vinyl.
Yes.
And just out of curiosity, that's the only spot in the house where the vinyl is, there's not on the other side, the driveway side?
It's all around if you look at the existing family room,
Yeah.
The whole thing
That's
is
going
vinyl.
away, right.
Yeah, that's
going
where-
away.
That's going away.
yeah, and we're taking, as I said, 64% less vinyl siding, which is, in reality, vinyl is a very dangerous material when it if it catches fire. You have a noxious gas, and we're trying to eliminate all of that, and I think we're moving in the right direction.
So that the public can see.
Well, I have an issue with consistency. The plans are great, it looks great, the hardy's great, I just have an issue with consistency.
Want me to call Leslie?
I guess,
If
But
you
my
want to
point
take a
is-
brief recess and you can get an answer for this right now, then I would suggest that's probably in order.
I can call her right now.
Is that okay
Is
with
that
the
okay
chair
with
if we take a 2-minute recess to allow Mr. Ostrowski to make a call?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be helpful.
While we're doing that, I'm really intrigued by this. So, I guess one, if this is not part of this conversation, why is it in front of us today?
Because the resident, the resident behind him, sent it here for this meeting and asked that the planning commission receive this tonight. So anything that's received for the planning commission, I'm responsible for making sure that it gets to the planning.
Even if it has no bearing in the
It
conversation?
has no bearing on it, but he directed it to the planning commission for tonight. And that's, again, that's Mr. Bennett from behind. He put his name right out there on that. That is a document that will be part of the record. And then I can't speak to why he wants it as part of the record for tonight, but he did, and apparently he wanted you all to see it, which you have, so we fulfilled our obligation.
And outside of illegal activity, do we as a city have a leg to stand on to dictate what somebody does with their garage?
Not really.
Okay. Just
I
wanna
mean,
make sure.
there's, the reason behind that and why there was no problem with that was that the fact that he may or may not have people in his garage is no different really than, it has garage doors you can see, cars can get in and out as you can see, it will hold cars as you can see. But if he wants to throw a big screen TV in there and have beverages and watch the football game, there's nothing that we can do that would indicate that that would be something where we would want to step in on.
I mean, theoretically, couldn't somebody close down their garage door and just use it as an extra space, or is that when
That's up to them. I mean, we don't police people's garages. The only way that we would do it is if there was a complaint or if it was obviously built something different, but it's got a garage door and cars fit in it, so.
Okay.
If it's an accessory building, it's
Yeah.
being used for living quarters? that would
Yeah,
have a
it
different-
does not have a
which-
bedroom, and it
Sleeping,
does not
right?
have sleeping.
That's kind of, as long as you don't pass out on there, you're fine.
If it had sleeping capacity, that would be a different
Okay.
issue for
It
us.
I've never
seems
seen
like
that.
more of a noise ordinance issue.
Yeah, he just doesn't
And
like.
if that's the case, and there was a noise ordinance issue, I do know that there was one, and it was,
So hold on,
so,
I got Bruce
why don't you put it
Wisser.
on speakerphone?
Okay. Bruce, I'm gonna put you on speakerphone to the commission. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, so for the record then, I guess, the planning commission had concerns about there being hardy on the back of the house, and then the front part of the house, the small amount of vinyl that's still there, still being vinyl, and contextually, it was creating a consistency issue for some of the members of the planning commission. And the question was, would you be willing to use the same hardy plank on the rest of the house as well, where there's existing siding, so there's a consistency throughout the project?
Yeah, the answer is yes, 100%.
Okay. All right, and is Mr. Ostrowski authorized to make that happen for you this evening?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Mr. Chair,
Thanks.
are you satisfied?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Are you?
Yes.
Hey, it's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best case, all right.
It did sound like. you were-
Technology, incredible.
Okay, you good? Anything else?
No questions for me.
Take it to me.
Yeah,
First,
sorry.
I have to bring notice that I am in notice of this area, and they are neighbors and live 3 houses away, but Hank and I have discussed it. I think the plans are great, I think the addition is great. I'm glad to see the awning go away from the old, from the old sleep porch. I don't see it, but I sold this house years ago when the, you know. So, the question now, going to hardy board, and the garage being dark hardy board, is the plan in the back of the house in the front to be dark, or is it gonna be this color, out of curiosity?
It won't be this color. That's like,
Right, but I'm saying, the-
we are gonna go with that rich color on it.
Okay.
Yeah. But all the trim will be a lighter color.
I think it looks great, I love it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, huge upgrade, looks great. Love it. Looking for a motion? This is you.
Motion to approve with the addition of siding replacement at the front and side with hardy board to match the back.
Hank, that apply?
That'll work.
Okay. Sarah Gale, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Prints are here if you want them.
Yeah.
Thanks, job, guys.
Thank you. All right, next up is the matter of public hearing, ordinance revision. This is what we talked about, I think, last month. And
Yeah.
Sheldon brought up some questions about the language in this proposal.
And we did have the opportunity to go over that with the city attorney at Sheldon's request, and you all were privy to the email that came back answering the questions and concerns. There's really no other, there's really nothing else that I would have to say about it other than we talked about in the past. So I would get your feedback, and feedback, there's no public participation, but you should still ask for it. But other than that, I would look for a recommendation to move this on to the city commission.
Okay. We'll open and close public participation as there is none. And do we want to go around the room on this one?
That's whatever the pleasure of the chair is.
Bob, any questions? I don't know if you had a chance to review this before.
No questions.
Sheldon,
I'm
you happy?
satisfied, never.
Sorry.
Oh, put that on.
Are you complacent?
It just, listen, I draft documents for a living, and I can look at something like 82 times, and I will make 82 changes. But I'm satisfied enough with the changes that have been made.
Great. Todd, anything to add?
Nothing to add, good.
Rick?
Hank, did they address the lighting time periods?
They did not, because they would have to screen it and shield it anyway, and it wouldn't be covered under the public nuisance ordinance. They felt that it was adequate as it is.
Okay, thank you.
Chris?
No questions.
Yeah?
No questions.
I'm good. So, sorry, are we looking for a motion to push this forward to the city commission then?
You're looking for a motion to recommend approval, you're moving to approve it and send it to the city commission for final approval
Okay.
with a recommendation.
Anybody?
So moved to recommend to the city commission.
You have a second?
Second.
Todd, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ship it.
Okay. Pack it and ship it, huh? Okay, the last item of business that I have is the master plan update discussion. This is real short. We're going to be receiving the updated copy of the master plan. They would like to do it at a separate meeting in February. They're suggesting February 17th as a date for the special meeting. If that works, we'd need a motion to set the special meeting for February 17th, location to be determined.
Works for me.
Yeah, you can do that.
And that's just a meeting of the planning commission with them, not with the community.
The community's welcome at any
So what
public
I'm saying,
meeting
it's
that
not a
we have.
meeting like that you had like in the gym.
It's likely gonna be here, based on the response that we had from the gym.
I might not be able to make it again because I have a commitment already on the 17th, but that's okay.
So you look for a motion to set a special meeting for February 17th?
17th, yes.
Motion to set, approve the February 17th meeting for, special meeting for master plan update.
Thanks, Todd. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Hank, what notification are we gonna put out on that?
We're gonna do the same thing. By doing it February 17th, it allows us time to make notices. I don't know that we're gonna be able to get signs in the ground as frozen as it is, but we will have our marquees letting people know that we will be having a presentation and that we'll have it. It will also be on the website a week prior to that so that people can take a look at it. And it will also be noticed in the e-blast as well. So, and then whatever else, we have a communications person that will get that notification out for us to as many people as possible.
What day of the week is it, 17th?
Thursday.
It's Thursday. We already have the zoning board of appeals has moved to the 15th because it doesn't appear that I can get a quorum on the 14th.
Busy week. All right, so one more time, we'll open and close public participation. And looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you
See
all
you guys
very
next month.
much. I appreciate you coming out on an evening like
Did you
this.
say the February meeting is on the 14th?
No,
Oh, no, I thought you said you moved something.
we moved it from the 14th, it's the 15th. Because notoriously Valentine's Day is a very tough day to get people to show up on.
Okay, so our planning commission is on the 15th, okay.
No, that's zoning board of appeals.
Oh, gotcha. Done.
Safe to assume it'll still be 7, Hank?
Yes.
Okay.
Planning commission meetings are 7. And again, those of you with Bob certainly will remember, Sheldon will too, the meetings that we had, that we started at 7:30 that went till 11 o'clock.
This was provided to us for